The shot is Carolina. Hey, hey, what do you say?
Hello, Vietnam.
It's good morning, but
All right.
Oh, it is good morning. Close enough. He's dead. He won't get upset. All right.
and action.
Talkin Sauce episode 57. And we are on a video call. First time. First of many, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
What's up, fellas?
First thing
All
that's
y'all
come out
are
of this.
frozen.
Starting off frozen, starting off with the lag. I love it. It's good shit.
It is what it is.
As best we can, kind of one by one. How y'all
The
doing?
lag is real.
This is already going great.
It's going straight south.
Jacob, how you doing?
Dude, pretty good, man. Just, living in my apartment. So as exciting as that can be. Playing a lot of Borderlands.
Not
But
the
that's
best
about
Borderlands, though.
But you know what I'm saying?
Now, we can have our differences, Jacob. Jacob, we can have our
I'm
differences.
listening.
But you're not going to tell me it's better than Borderlands 2. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that.
But what if I just did that a little bit? Just like right there a second ago, if I just did do that.
I'm in shock. I'm in shock and I'm in awe. Just on the DLC alone. Just on the DLC alone, it's a better game. It's a better game just on the DLC alone.
I don't know, dude. I
I
don't
will
know.
die. I will die with a javelin through my heart on that hill.
It's just gonna be Corona, but I feel you.
It will be. You're right. For
Yeah,
sure.
What about y'all, man? How y'all been?
Man, I ain't been doing much else. Just chilling, watching a lot of new stuff on Hulu, writing some music, usual shit. Really, it ain't
Is it,
affect me that much, to be honest.
Three eyes, two nuts. What is it called again?
What?
What's it? Oh, he's talking about Four Eyes. He's talking about Four Eyes.
Oh,
Four Eyes.
oh, yeah.
Coming at you, summer 2020. That's a whole different
Shouts out
Four-
to Pop Project.
pop
Four
project.
eyes and two left feet.
Boom.
Josh, give me a fist bump to your
Bam!
good stuff.
Nice.
Yes,
Cody,
it
what have you been
is.
doing to keep yourself busy?
Not much. We've been watching a lot of Netflix, obviously. We actually set up a game night the other night. We had 4 laptops playing with some friends, playing some Settlers of Qtine. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
Such
I got
a
a
good
Snapchat. I got a snap from Cody going hard on the fucking virtual board game remote
Yeah,
setup,
dude.
dude. This shit was sick.
Yeah, we had one camera on us and one camera on the board itself, and then they had the same thing. It's some of our buddies up in Knoxville.
So you can figure that
yeah, so
all
a lot
out,
of
but
that.
fucking not help us here at all, eh?
I mean, here we are. It's really just my
It's a
internet
fact.
connection
It's a
is the
fact.
problem.
I love it.
But obviously, so I'm assuming you guys have seen at least part of it or heard of it. But we got to talk Tiger King for a second.
For real. It's been crazy.
I think Cody and I are the only ones who have finished it.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So Squirrel, you haven't seen shit. Jacob, you said you saw a couple
I ain't
episodes.
started.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through.
It gets crazier.
So
It just
what
gets
was the-
crazier and crazier.
It does. Jacob, what was the last thing that you saw? So I know not to get too into it.
I mean, you can get into it. I've pretty much heard everything about it on the internet already. But the last thing I saw was Joe making a phone call out of jail and prison saying, or maybe he wasn't even in jail or prison yet, but it was where he was saying he's going to go after Carol, right? Is it Carol?
Yeah. Hey,
All right.
Yeah.
he was going after
Carol's
Carol
all.
since day one.
Yeah. But like the end of the episode, I'm
Three
saying,
things.
what?
What? Oh. Sorry, y'all are lagging. No, I was gonna say there are 3 things that are true to this world: is death and taxes, and that Carol Baskin killed her fucking husband. all
Oh,
those
dude.
things.
Facts.
She for
Actual
sure
factual
fed
wax.
that motherfucker. to
Definitely. That was the last episode I saw. Was like them laying out like, oh no, she definitely killed her husband.
I want to pose a question. I want to pose a question to at least Cody and Jacob, and I did this. I was on Zach's podcast, Siren Sounder. Shout out Zach and them. The episode coming out Monday, dude. Catch me on that shit, dude. But I asked him this question. I want Jacob and Cody, who have seen enough. You got the three main players they kind of introduced in the beginning, right? You got Carol, Joe, and Dr. Antle. Okay. Whichever
That
way you
weird
want to do it,
fucking
whichever
orgy
way
guy.
you want to, yeah, whichever way you want to do it, craziest to least craziest, least to craziest. I need to hear your tier order here.
Okay. The craziest is definitely Dr. Ansel. That
Thank
man
you.
is a
Thank
dude,
you.
that man is so delusional. Like I feel like Joe is at least kind of aware of how fucked his whole shit is. But like yeah, Dr. Ansel is just like, no, I'm a god. And then Carol is fucking Carol, I think it would be second for me, honestly.
Oh no,
So
I'm sorry.
I
Yeah, you're
thought-
right. Yeah, you're 100% right. 100% right.
For me, it would go Dr. Ansel, Carol, and then Joe as far as like
Joe
most
being
to
the
least
most sane.
Yeah. Not to
Okay.
say he's sane. He's definitely
No.
crazy as fuck. But how about you, Cody?
I guess Ansel would be the craziest one. I would still think that it's Joe. I think Joe is batshit crazy.
He is.
Just like the whole thing. I mean, the whole scene where that person got their fucking arm ripped off and then came back to work like 2 days later, just like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
In that whole incident, I saw someone pointed out on Twitter, bro, like walked away, came back with a EMS bomber jacket on.
Oh,
Someone
yeah.
pointed that out.
yeah.
The
You
fuck?
gotta have that. Dude, you own a Tiger Sanctuary. You gotta have the EMS jacket.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You were gonna say something, Cody?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Carol is. I don't really know. Like, Carol is the type of crazy who I think like knows that they're crazy, and just puts that out even more. Like it's either that or she's so self-delusion that she's the only sane one in the group. I don't know. I still think he's the craziest one. Doc is the one who I think is the most entertaining, just because of his lifestyle. He basically like. I don't know. The whole shit's wild.
Started a cult. He basically started a cult.
Bro, I don't see how
Tyler,
the fucking documentary ain't about Doc Antle. Doc Antle is a fucking child predator, rapist, cultist, fucking arms dealer, dude. This guy's out of his mind, dude. This guy's out of his fucking mind.
Well, the crazy
He's
thing
doing
is like so. There were so many like B characters on that show that could have their entire show just about them. There was the guy they talk about in like the first or second episode in somewhere in, I want to say like Wisconsin or something, who completely unrelated to all this, had a whole bunch of cats, blew his brains out, and then let all the animals go. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was like when they were like having to like shoot the wild animals. But like that whole thing could have been a documentary just on itself, and they spent like maybe 10 minutes talking about him.
No shit. No shit.
There's like
people are
8 different
fucking
documentary web offs that could happen from this, dude.
Yeah. Notice how they're mostly polygamous. Pretty much all of them.
Well, yeah, like duh.
Of course. Shame on me, right?
Why wouldn't they be, dude? Why wouldn't they be?
I mean, big cats, tigers especially, is like 100% an aphrodisiac. There's no way it's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
What is what's that other guy's name? He
Jeff.
comes in later and takes over.
Jeff Lowe.
Jeff says, what does he say? He goes, "Oh, a little pussy can get you a lot of pussy."
There
Like
you go.
that's the weird fucking mentality.
He says that in front of his wife, who's like 20 years younger than him, and she's just like, "Wow, yeah, I've never really thought of it like that."
She's like, oh yeah, that's exactly how this went down.
Jesus, man. It's fucking crazy. I mean, shouts out those documentaries that have been coming out on Netflix, pulling some really good fucking shit. Like this is all very searchable information. This is all on record, court documented information that anyone can learn about. But shouts out Netflix and people who are making these sick documentaries we've seen, especially in a time like this where we need this.
It
kind
does
of content.
end. The way that it ends too, though, kind of leaves it open to potentially having another season, because I think the court case and all that shit is still going on.
Well,
so
you're not wrong about that, but the people who are in it that aren't in jail, they are not happy.
That's true.
None of them are happy. So I don't think they'll be back talking to, because that's the thing is this dude who did this shit, he's been filming it for like more than 5 years.
Yeah, I think like 7 or 8 years or something.
And talking to Zach about it too, imagine with all the other shit that's gone down in the past few years, in the next like 8 to 10 years, the documentaries that are going to come out then.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. None of us are going to be alive then, though, dude. It's just going to be a nuclear wasteland.
Pretty much.
Dude,
R.I.P.
I got into a rabbit hole on Friday looking at I watched a whole playlist of all of Joe Exotic's music videos because why not? And that shit is ridiculous. I mean, they showed the highlights on the documentary, but man, classic.
And Dylan, you'll really eat this up when you start watching it. I have a huge problem. That motherfucker is not singing a one of those songs. He is not singing a single one of those songs.
Dude, he has the voice of an angel. You keep that to yourself. He's got the voice of an angel. And
I saw a tweet yesterday. Someone was like, oh, I found out that Joe wasn't actually, and like he even started to listen details of like how they put it all together. And I'm like, did you not hear the guy talk? Did you not hear the dude's voice versus the singers like Garth Brooks on that damn song?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
This guy smokes meth. He ain't singing like that. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, when the artistry comes out of him, man, it just comes out the right way.
Dude, Squirrel, we're talking about a chorus with like 4 like awesomely timed harmonies and like all kinds of production, dude. Like there's no way this guy did this
it just sounds like the music hit him. You know, that's what I'm.
He raised like 200 tigers. You think he can't sing a couple fucking tunes, dude?
Oh, he wrote those lyrics.
I think if you raise 200 some tigers, then there's sort of like a thing that manifests in you where you can then sing like an angel.
I tell you what, I cannot argue against that.
He's probably harmonizing with himself on some like
at the same time.
Yeah. He's just a polyphonic voice. Just
yeah. There's the 4 perfectly harmonized tracks, and it was all recorded at the same time.
I will say, before it got too deep and not knowing much of the history about it, you start watching it, and the guy was filming his own reality show on the campus. And this is more for Squirrel because he hasn't seen anything. But the way they start to set it up is this dude has like $100,000 recording studio on site. And then you see like all these tatted up meth like behind the operator chairs of it. And you're just like,
yeah, sounds about right.
This shit is fake. This is like this is the actual studio for the documentary. And they just put these motherfuckers in the chairs. And we're like, no, we're gonna make it look like this is part of the thing. But really, this is just our fucking setup for you guys.
That's hilarious.
It looks so suspect.
And then they show like some of the beginnings of where his like Joe Exotic TV started or whatever. And they're just like in the shed. He's just like, I got Carol's diary.
Dude, the way he was with that mannequin, bro. Oh man. It just, and again, we could go on for hours about it. Like the multiple husbands and all that shit. And it's just
the one dude
wild,
that shot himself.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
I don't think I've gotten to that yet.
That's a pretty big spoiler alert.
Still though.
You don't know who though.
The 6'6" dude.
I won't say who.
Maybe
it was a 6'6" dude.
Well, I'll tell you this much. There's a reason they haven't talked about him yet. So.
And the reason the only video you've seen of him is back when Joe just like first started hooking up with him.
Yeah. Well, you can even see then, like when they introduce him, and then in that little montage of him, as much as they give you, you can like immediately see the fucking transformation. They show that little clip of him introducing himself when he like first got there, and they show him like how many every years later the guy's like a whole different fucking guy.
Yeah.
Tragic. That's like one of the most tragic fucking parts.
That's what happens when you're like 16 or however the fuck old he was.
Yeah.
That's just it too, man. It fucking, and all these people are bringing in people who are so young, especially Doc Antle, that sick fuck.
They all do. The Doc Antle thing's just fucking sad.
Fuck. That's so fucked.
So sad.
So
he made that one chick the boob job.
He probably makes some audio boob jobs, dude.
He makes all get boob jobs.
I gotta watch this thing, man. Good God,
dude.
I thought it was about tigers.
It's almost not even about
that much of the fucking thing, dude.
It's about tigers in the beginning and at the very end,
of these people's lives. It's fucking crazy.
Let's say wild side story that we'll have to get into at some point. Tyler, my brother, one of he's a vet tech at exotic animals vet. And I was talking to him about the documentary. He knows like some people in not like that specific community, but in like the big animals and cat community. And he actually knows someone who worked at Doc's farm, and he said that girl fits exactly the profile of like what was on the documentary. So like, all that shit's real.
Wow. There you go.
It's crazy.
Right here.
It's crazy.
You heard it.
Aside from
Hockey.
Tiger King,
What?
before we get into hockey, a couple of little things we've been doing. I've been watching some Dragon Ball Z. I know we're some Dragon Ball Z fans amongst us here. A little nostalgia. We're right in the middle of the Cell games. Right in the middle of the Cell games. One of the best.
That's
One of the
sick.
best
That's
pieces
yeah.
of DBZ.
probably my
content.
favorite part of the whole thing.
It's really
Frankly.
hard for it not to be.
Cell
That's
and
the
the
one where they wear
androids
the
and all
headbands,
that.
right?
I fucking hate you, Jacob.
Is it with the blue arrow on the forehead? Is it that? Is it that one?
Fuck you.
Yo, man,
I got like no banter for that. Just you're
put
a
some
dick.
respect, you put some respect on Avatar: Last Airbender's name, son. You put some respect on it.
No, is that which one's that?
Is that what?
Terrible.
Terrible.
I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm
you're
just-
right, Cody.
No, he's
We
not.
need to get out of here and move on to hockey before the shit gets ugly. So with it being episode 57, just because we're remote, we're not gonna stop doing the shout outs, dude. Never that. We gotta give it to my boy David Perron. 2019 Stanley Cup champion. The guy's got over 800 games in the NHL with 550 points. He was drafted by St. Louis. I didn't realize this. He was drafted by St. Louis, 26 overall pick, 07. He played with them for 6 seasons before he bounced around to Edmonton, Pittsburgh, Anaheim, back to St. Louis. Then he had a stint in Vegas for a portion of the year, and then he's been with St. Louis since 18.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
I never
hey, just-
remembered him on Anaheim.
Me either.
That was the only one that didn't ring a bell.
Yeah. The Vegas one too was kind of what as recent as that was. I was like, fuck. But they've had so many good forwards go in and out of that team. And then looking at all that, it's just cool that he was able to get drafted by the team that he was eventually able to win a Stanley Cup with. That's
Yeah.
sick, for
Oh, yeah.
sure. Super solid career, great player. He was having a great season before this. He's 31. He was having a great season. He was like 3 goals away from his career high at 28 with 25 goals before the season got suspended. So, I mean, he could have passed that. You know, it sucked.
Yeah.
The only other honorable mention, I think, for 57s would have been Tyler Myers. Big, tall fuck.
Like 6'7" or whatever.
Yeah, like 6'9" on skates.
Where's he at now? What? Oh, he's in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, I think he's in Vancouver. Yeah, I was going to say Buffalo, but I
That's
think that's where
right.
he came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
You
in,
want
he's
Buffalo
in
to
Vancouver.
Winnipeg?
He's 6'8".
Vancouver.
6'8" in Vancouver. There you go.
Yeah.
But shouts out Perron, dude. Shouts out the Blues. They're having a great season before the shit.
Perron's
got
dad
kaput.
played too, didn't he?
Probably. Mm-hmm.
I think it
Uh-huh.
wasn't Perron that had his dad was a really good player too. Pretty sure.
You might be confusing him and Steen.
You might be right.
And
You
the
might be
only
right.
reason I say that is because when I was typing notes for Perron, I put he had a big fucking nose, but that's Steen with the big nose.
Steen.
Perron's not- so I confused them. And Steen's dad definitely did play. I think they even had the same fucking name.
I think you might be right.
Could be totally wrong though. No idea. But shouts out Perron, shouts out 57. Regardless of what the fuck is going on, we're still gonna do this podcast one way or another.
Absolutely.
Bringing it to
Quality be damned. we're still
Bringing it to
doing it. We're bringing it to you regardless. Anything else before we move on to the Hurricanes? Kind of. You guys got anything you want to say? I'm gonna check with you in this case because we're not face to face. There's no body language to
True.
read off of here. But let's start talking about the Canes as best we can. Miss them to death, right?
Yep. Missing hockey.
Missing hockey bad.
It was nice to see.
the Hurricanes.
It was nice to see Jordan's face the other day. I know we'll get more into that video conversation, but it was good to see a live feed of that big fucking tree.
For
Yeah.
real. For real.
And something. This might be a little bit of hate. I mean, it's definitely hate. But I'm tired of these fucking virtual games getting streamed, dude. I'm tired. Like, who's watching
Why?
this? Who's
No, I don't know,
watching
man.
it?
It's-
Like,
He's right.
I disagree. What else can we do hockey wise? I haven't watched
go
a single
play
one of them,
NHL.
but I don't know. Look, they are streaming. They are currently streaming on Twitch simmed Madden 20 games where you can bet money on those. So like that's how people are getting their sports fix right now.
This brings up a
It's
really good
nuts.
point. I was talking to a coworker about it, and I'm like, man, what are fucking sports betting motherfuckers doing right now? They must be playing a shit ton of online poker. Online poker right now has got to be fucking more popular than any sort of virtual betting you can do right now.
Or esports.
like cards and shit,
Are they
they're
calling
legit.
esports?
I guess esports for sure, but just like true gambling, right? Like you can't go to
Yeah.
casinos, I imagine. I'm sure there's plenty that are still open.
Mm-mm.
Are they all closed?
Yes, as far as I know, I mean, you
Vegas
can't have
is shut
anyone,
down.
They should be, and they
Yeah.
should be. I just, I wouldn't, the way everything else is going in some places, I wouldn't put it past shit. But yeah, I mean, imagine, right? Like the amount of comp in online poker right now must be crazy. Like any internet lobby would be easy to get into any other time, and now you're like, fuck, I can't even get in this game.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah.
You come with like 25 G's.
for real.
I
And then
do wish
stock
with
market.
the streaming. With the streaming, I do wish they were having like the players play, and they were streaming the players.
That would be
playing.
that's
that would
what
make
I
a
think-
lot more sense.
And
like,
I think that's more Jacob's point, where like you do it one or two times, and you're not, and shouts out them for keeping the content coming, but you're not doing much else when you're just like, all right, here's the game we were gonna play, here's the sim. Like the David Ayers things was cool. They put him in the game for the matchup against Toronto. That's sick.
Yeah.
But to your point, what you were just saying, Cody, and what Jacob's kind of saying, thinking a little bit more outside the box when I can just fucking play the game myself.
Yeah,
I mean,
for real.
Right.
every Joe Blow who has 0 followers streams what they do. We're about to start it ourselves. We got no
You
followers.
say.
So
I was about to say,
everyone's-
talking shit. Check out the Cancellation Cup out there streaming.
Cancellation.
Follow us on
Plug.
Twitter.
let's shout that out real quick.
Hockey
Let's shout that out real quick. Tonight
Plug.
tonight starts the Cancellation Cup. I think every team is playing. I think the team we're playing actually has a double header. We're the first game against Kane Stats, and they have to play another team after us. So, shouts
Well,
out
we're
us.
playing Kane Stats.
We're
I've heard
playing
they're
Kane
nice,
Stats.
dude.
Yeah,
Word on
no,
the
they're
street
nice.
is they're nice, dude.
Word on the
We're having
streets,
to
they're
go-
nice.
We're gonna have to go break kneecaps or something. Get real. Who's the blonde woman? Shit. Damn. The
Carol
Olympic
Baskins.
skier. Who's the
Tanya
Olympic
Harding?
skier? Tanya Harding.
Now,
Yeah,
hold on, wait a
Tanya
minute. Why get Tanya Harding when you can get Carol Baskin?
You're right.
Tanya Harding's just going to break your kneecap. Carol Baskin's going to feed him to a tiger for
It's
us.
just she'll make
True.
him disappear.
Like, okay,
Bones and all.
Her husband was a multi-millionaire with connections and assets all over the place, and that guy just vanishes. Fuck
How
out.
are you not terrified to be her current husband?
Dude, in their
That
wedding
dude
picture, that guy
old
was
as
on a
piss.
leash.
Yeah. How do you not think that you are also going to be fed to some fucking tigers?
You stay on that leash. You stay on that leash. That's how. That's exactly how. You go, you want to not be that other guy, you're going to give it. Like, straight up, she didn't even say nothing until the wedding picture. She goes, go ahead and get on. I got this leash. Get on the ground. He goes,
was like,
whoa.
what? She was like,
Whoa. Well, you remember what happened to my last husband? Get on the fucking ground.
Yeah, and then she was just saying that and real slowly put the collar on him. She's like, now you remember what happened to my last husband. it's real dark
That's
scene.
fucked.
You should
All
see
you
their
cool cats
personal
and kittens.
documentary, you know what I'm saying?
For real. But shouts out to Cancellation Cup, dude. Games start
Yeah.
tonight. Games are going to be Sundays and Wednesdays, ongoing for like the next several weeks. Mostly afternoon games for sure. We're going to be streaming some. I know off jump, Kane Stats themselves. So I think our first game will be on stream tonight. If not by us, it's going to be by them. And yeah. So the embarrassment just broadcasted to the world.
Yeah.
And then Hockey and C. Chris over at Hockey and C is going to be streaming his game. So you can definitely catch all those for sure. It's going to be sick. A little fun competition. You know what I'm saying? Keeping
What's
it
the
going.
so the situation? So there's 5 teams,
I think, yeah, 5 teams.
and so everyone's just gonna play each other once, like a round robin, and then they'll be seeding.
Exactly. I think this is going to determine the seeding, and then go from there. I don't quite remember the workouts of if it's single elimination. I think it's like a best of 3. Anyway, it'll be fun. Be a fun little competition. Our squad as a whole has very little experience 6v6, 5v5, so it's going to be definitely a change of pace. Used to playing 3s, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Jacob, you definitely do look like Sully from Monsters Inc.
Like who?
Like Sully
Cody,
from
I'll
Monsters
kick you
Inc.
off this
Dude,
call,
big
bro.
fat.
I'll shut this whole call down, bro.
You can't do that, dog. I got the power.
Hey, I'm not
Nah,
changing
dude, I'll shut it down.
the names. It's not me changing the names.
Oh shit! I didn't even see that. That's mad disrespectful.
Yeah, I was like, man, Cody just came up with a burn right there, and I'm like,
I know,
oh
for
no,
real.
yeah.
I was like, out of nowhere, he's been drinking that Storm Brew, just thinking about it. He's like, where have I seen this motherfucker?
Who do you look like?
Yo,
That's-
long
that's
beard
hilarious.
ass. That's pretty good. Back to the Canes though. Miss them to death, but they're making moves. Other teams are signing college free agents. The Canes are no exception to that. They finally got David and Jason Cotton, the Cotton brothers,
Mhm.
David
I'm
Cotton, I
bored.
think, is someone on a lot of fans' radar, at least, seen in the prospect pool. Drafted him,
Yeah.
fifth, sixth round, like 2015, some shit like that.
Yeah.
We saw
Big
him
boy.
earlier in the year at the prospects game.
We did.
We were all
Uh-huh.
there.
I think the
And he
biggest
decided.
standout. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
There you go.
I was gonna say, I think he decided to stay on his last year at Boston College too, to captain the team and try to like make another run. Because I think that we had tried to sign him. I know at least last season, maybe even the season before.
Well, and to that kind of just obviously going back to captain the team is a huge responsibility, and that's shows a lot of leadership for sure.
Yeah.
But to that point, Jacob, not only did he go back to do that, out of all 4 NCAA seasons, the guy's only missed 2 games out of 150. So he
Terrible.
doesn't miss games either.
It's nuts.
Yep.
Very committed young man. So that's awesome. 6'4", 200 pounds. You love to see that.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then his brother's no slouch either. His brother's no slouch. 25, couple years older. He's just an inch under, 6'3". Hobie Baker finalist this season. Playing over there with Sacred Heart. 37 points in 34 games. Captain the team this year. So 2 captains between the both of them. You
Yep.
love to see that. It's fucking
pedigree.
installed all over.
They're
again,
both
boys.
centers too.
We're gonna have the Cottons. How fitting for the Southern hockey team to have the Cotton brothers being the fucking the leadership.
Yeah, maybe if it was like
going forward, dude.
1930, yeah. Maybe if it was like 1820, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm hoping that this brings out from the fans like loving the brothers or whatever, and then management finally gets on that and they're like, all right, I guess we got to bring back Eric.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've been a fan of it since day one, dude. Bring him back. I'm not
No.
against it. I will not
Leave
be
him in
upset.
Minnesota. Leave him in Minnesota.
Dude,
To be honest.
what are your what are the thoughts on the whole Dundon thing coming out? Talking that the report came out that we were cutting salary. And he came out and was like super against that. But from what I've heard, like the actual memo that went out to people, it's like highly the opposite of what he told who was Adam Gold or whatever the other day.
Yeah.
And maybe that is the case. Jacob, you look like you had something to say on it. Go ahead.
Well, I know it came out that said we're going to stop paying him, and then he was like, "That's not what we're going to do. We have no intention of that." And then the email came out where they had told everybody, "You take all your like pay time off, sick and everything," which is illegal actually. And he said that. And he's like, "So
Right.
we're not making him do it. We're just highly suggesting it." So it's like we're not making him do it, but we're making him do it. And then after that, any non-contracted employees, I think, will quit getting paid, which is only fucked up going back because remember back during the Don Waddell thing where Dundon was saying, "I don't see the need for contracts. They don't really seem to help me out." And everybody was like, "Yeah, he's just a, do it by the word kind of guy." And then now here he is. Something crazy happens. Non-contracted people aren't getting paid. So I can optically, it's definitely fucked up. We still don't know what their plan is going forward, but it looks really, 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 really bad.
I think a couple important caveats. The main one to that is the optics are bad no matter what, unless you're that company, that team, that owner coming out the gate saying no one's going without pay, no one's going without anything, unless you're doing exactly that, which is not always the easiest thing to do financially or otherwise. Unless you're doing that, the optics are going to look like shit. But with that in mind, don't fucking just give up on the team or just start shitting on them. Not that you guys are, but other people will, just because of the optics. You don't know shit. And I think the other thing to that too is there's a part of what Dundon was saying is they're also going to see what this stimulus does to insurance for your employees, and then seeing like what sort of payout, and that's where it goes all over my head. But there's some payout that will happen there, and he said he was willing to make up the difference. So it's going to keep evolving day by day, and for anyone to think that's not part of that decision making, that they have their head wrapped around it, you're just dead fucking wrong. Like you have no idea. None of us do.
You're dumb. You big dummy.
You big dumb. But that doesn't change the obligation for a lot of these rich motherfuckers to pay their employees as best they can, as best they fucking can.
Speaking of the stimulus, what are you guys doing with your $1,200?
Fucking paying it back in taxes or something, I'm sure. Like,
I'm sure. Bikes.
Yeah.
Squirrels buying equipment. Yeah, I mean, that'll be sick. That'll be huge to get.
We should get cameras. We should
Really
get
good cameras.
of that shit, dude.
We should get cameras. Basically, we're gonna pool all of our 1200s together and then just thank the government for helping invest in the podcast.
For sure.
Yes,
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes all make sense. Not much else on the Canes though, boys. I guess the prospect of players coming back well before the season resumes.
Which would be
Right?
sick. I mean, there's we would benefit huge from. I don't know if we would benefit huge from the games being rescheduled since we're already in a playoff spot. I don't know how easy it would for us to be to jump to a higher playoff spot, but at the very least, like playoffs come, we got some healthy bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it
The
even
one
happens.
upside.
Yeah, but getting Dougie, Vatanen, Vatanen and Reimer, definitely I can see coming back for regular season games if they happen. Dougie may still be a stretch. Just because if you don't have to risk him long term, I wouldn't personally.
Right.
We'll see how it goes, but it will be great to get
Well,
those
especially
guys.
because we had essentially already written off Dougie for the season. So
Yeah.
we still had, the mindset of making the playoffs and pushing through. So I agree. If he's not fully healthy, we don't want to risk what's going to happen next year
Yeah.
to him.
And then counter that, I
But-
think we mentioned it last pod. If Pesci, Hamilton are healthy as can be, where does Vatanen fit? Barely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Pesci's going to come back at all, even with this long break. I think he'll be a next season guy at best.
Wasn't
just
it the
'cause he
same
went through
shoulder?
surgery. Same shoulder. He had injured it, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I think for his freshman season, whatever that was, or rookie season, freshman season, Jesus. But and then he didn't get surgery then. Same thing happened again, and he was like, "All right, let's just get surgery." Knocked
He wore
out.
54 that year.
He wore 54 that year. Shouts out episode
out.
54.
Shouts out.
Go hear all about it, dude.
For sure. Like just Norm Canes fans are like fucking duh.
yeah. God, these guys don't know
Dude.
anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
True.
Canes and that fucking revolving door that we seem to have, these pictures that I have up here, 4 of them no longer Canes. Hannafin, Darling, Furland, and Scott Walker.
I thought you
Scott
were going to
Legend.
list off names of like people who have like retired or like had great
No,
careers.
I
You
said-
named a bunch
I
of
said
You know
revolving
the guys
door.
we got last year.
You
That's
named
what
a
I'm
bunch
saying.
of
No,
nobodies.
I said revolving door. So the only 2 that I have up there that are the autographs that are still there at the Aho and Slavin. But it seems like the Backyard Bistro thing, they always like to get new players in, and a lot of them.
Again.
We're back.
Yeah. We're back.
Goddamn.
So
Zoom
we're
said,
done.
fuck that
Fucking
shit.
free as Zoom.
Shouts out Zoom. Shouts out being free.
The worst
So,
part
yeah.
is we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, and we
Knew it was
still got by it. And it's
We got
hilarious.
Cody, I was just going to end that whole thing by
Got.
saying people come to your house, you're like, yo, check out my shit. And they go in your room and then you just got like ex-NHLers on your wall. Like just like, you just got a bunch of
They're all
journeymen on your
NHLers.
wall.
They're just ex.
well, not all of them. One of
Canes
them is
players.
whatever the Australian league is.
Yeah, Scott is not playing NHL hockey.
Yeah.
Darling or Walker.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good shit. What in the fuck though, boys?
I guess
What
in the
NHL
fuck?
stuff or the lack thereof.
Lack thereof, man. I think, one of the obvious things to touch on is that way that the league and players in the league are still trying to keep content up is by doing those Zoom calls like we are right now. You got you'll take 4 players from the team, usually captains, as the only ones I've seen, on a call with someone from Sportsnet, asking. I think the big purpose, aside from getting fans some interaction, is the media can still get their questions in, and that way everyone can kind of, in some capacity, continue to work. So shouts out that avenue.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you guys?
Yeah.
What's your guys' take on that?
On the online content?
Just the access, having the access to the players, in whatever degree we can in this time. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's cool. Just and
Yeah,
I like seeing the videos.
It's good
of,
to
I like seeing the videos of who was it that sent toilet paper by drone to one of it was 2 hockey players.
Yeah, it was. I don't know who the other guy was, but it was Jeff Carter and his wife, and then someone
Right.
else. Someone else. Like, may have been Ina Follow or somebody
Yeah.
on the Kings.
Yeah. But just stuff like that's always funny to see. All the little challenges and stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen that, like the deking board I forget what that machine's called, but it has the red lights pop up on it.
Right.
I've been seeing like that challenge go out, so seeing like people let their kids do it and stuff. It's been that's part's been cool. Quit streaming the games, you know what I'm saying? But the other parts,
games. For sure.
stream cancellation.
Aren't they gonna have a isn't PK about to have a game show or some shit coming out? Do you guys see anything?
I think
about
that's in the
that?
works. I think that's in the works.
It's probably been in the works
Yeah.
for a minute, if we're being honest.
For
PK
real.
and the league are
But I
like,
think they're
best
pushing
buds.
it forward now.
yeah. Oh yeah, they're capitalizing on it.
And who
But
better?
it's just
I mean,
something
there's
that they're having to
Mhm.
push.
literally not a better player in the league to kind of take that sort of role, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Dude, just
For sure.
I think it should just be conversations. PK and Kid Rock just talking the whole time. I watch that shit for days.
What?
Dude,
I mean, I'd watch
I
it.
would love to see that
I'd
watch it.
conversation.
How would you?
now, dude.
Who'd think of it?
who would think of that?
Who-
You know who we
would-
need to get in a room together? Kid Rock and PK Sure.
Yeah, hell of a time.
I'm here for it.
I'm here
I'd
for
watch it. I'd watch
watch
every
the
minute.
shit out
of
of
it.
Watch
that.
the shit out of that.
Yeah, one of them is coming out a changed man. I'll tell you that much. One of them's coming out with different opinions.
One of them's getting
Fuck.
convinced of something. Who knows
I
what?
think they
but
just-
something.
Nah, two of them go in and just Lil Yachty comes out.
What?
Are you trying to say Kid Rock and
What is going on right now?
Kid Rock and PK together?
Lil Nas
Lil
X
Yachty?
comes out, bro.
What?
Jesus. Yeah, so shouts out Sportsnet having the players on Zoom calls. Shouts out us being able to see the players in some way, one or another.
Mhm.
I think PK is the one he was on. It was definitely by far the most entertaining. He was giving Ovechkin some shit and stuff like that. There's not a lot of spicy stuff that comes out of it. It's a lot of really general
Yeah.
type shit. But good nonetheless.
It was really funny
Oh,
too.
sure.
They were asking their like opinions on shit about should we continue how were they going to continue playing the season. Like everybody who was already on a team that was on the playoffs were like, let's just like go and start the playoffs, fuck it. And everyone else is like, no, like we should probably reschedule these games. Like it's
Yeah.
so obvious which one you're
Yeah.
gonna pick. It's like very biased.
For
And
real.
they've looked at expanding the playoffs for this year too, having some like play-in games and stuff like that. So that could be
Yeah.
cool.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to what I had said a few weeks ago, and I kind of backed away from it, but I'm back on this take, dude. Is like, let's just straight up cancel the season. Let's
Cancel
straight
the
up
season.
just fucking end it. No one wins a cup. No one gets an award. You do something for the draft lottery, and that's the whole thing. People are talking about like a tournament for the draft lottery. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've
Yeah.
ever heard. It's already
dumb.
completely made up. Who gets it?
Yeah.
Edmonton's
Yeah.
had the first overall pick, like what, 4 out of the past 10 years? It's completely made up who gets it. So a tournament would be a slap in the face to what they've already been doing. Just make that still a random
If
pool
you're gonna
lottery.
have time for a fucking tournament,
Right.
make it the playoffs. Like, don't
Right.
just have a
Mhm.
fucking draft lottery tournament. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stupid. Let's just fuck. It's been an absolute tragic it's been a tragic 2020. Let's just fucking cancel the whole goddamn thing. You did how you did. You just, it's a big asterisk. You come back next season fresh, whenever that can be. That's the whole thing. We
Yeah.
don't even know when the shit's going to start. How can you even begin to talk about how you're going to end before you're going to run into the next shit? It's all going to be fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the regular season is like early or late October, right?
First 2 weeks of
So-
October.
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a thing
it's
where you're going to have an
all this shit's
off-season.
very likely going to bleed into next year.
Yeah, and so stuff gets pushed back. I understand that, but let's not. I don't know. It just seems so disingenuous to force a competition where the entire drama of it has been completely undone. The whole competition build up, everything that they've built to the moment that they were all at will be completely undone by this, no matter how they restart it. In my opinion,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All the momentum's been lost.
Exactly.
all
Maybe the
momentum.
one thing to that completely makes it very difficult are ticket monies that have been spent.
Yeah.
Because then you got to refund that, and that's a whole other set of things. But I mean, fuck, man. And this is coming. This
Yeah.
is coming from someone who's already invested. Cody, you've invested in season tickets this year. I spent money on tickets next year for season tickets. I don't know when the fuck I'm going to be able to go to
Right.
any of those games. So people got money in. But that's not
Oh,
the
yeah.
point at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's about the healthy continuation. And I'm not talking about like with the virus, just a healthy continuation of the league. Not letting this sport sell itself short just because of XYZ. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think we should just end it.
But I think that just kind of shows, and it's a negative attitude. Don't act like it's not a negative attitude to have. But that's just kind of where this whole thing has put a lot of us. You know what I mean? How do you find the joy in what is the best sport in the world when, I don't know, it maybe be different once it ramps back up again and this whole thing starts to die down and then it all starts to kind of fall into place, but it's going to have to be that way. It's going to have to fall into place. It's not going to be some perfectly planned out scenario at all.
Yeah.
But is what it is. On to the negativity. There's people in the NHL. You all right?
Good, dude?
That was a lot.
I'm just sad.
Sounded like a modem for a second, dude.
Yeah.
I'm feeling though. I feel though. It's fucking rough, dude. I mean, I don't know. I know we all can't wait for this shit to end. Not just so we can continue living our lives, but so everyone can continue living their lives. And all these people who have been putting themselves at risk can stop. You know what I mean? They can these health workers and for people on the front lines get a break.
Buds.
Yeah, fuck off, COVID. Fuck off.
Piece of shit.
And inside the league, you're hearing more and more reports of people testing positive. The owner of the Rangers now diagnosed. As far as we know, I'm sure there's many more. 4 NHLers total. I think more recently a second Avalanche player named. I didn't know there's 2 Senators. I knew 1. I didn't know there's 2. So I mean, it's and there's going to be more. You're probably going to hear about some more. Good.
It's interesting too. So the problem seems to be the Staples Arena visiting locker room, because the first people to come out I feel like it was like NBA players, Brooklyn Nets players, and Lord Nets to Lakers, and then right after that game, they had some LA Kings games. So there's people. So what we said, both the Avalanche and the Senators have all had people. They were in not back to back, but played twice in 3 nights at Staples Arena. So we're assuming that's probably where they all got it. But at the same time, why is no one from the LA Kings come out and been diagnosed yet?
Hence the away locker room,
They might just be right. It's either that or they just don't. I mean, the LA Kings want to, I don't know, not tell people if they have it or what. But
and that's just it, man. For every one NHL player who they're saying has it, there's 3 or 4 who have it. They're not saying. I mean, I gotta take that assumption. I could be dead ass wrong. I hope that's not the fucking case. But everything else with this, dude, none of us are being told exactly what's going on. We're getting it as soon as we can, whatever the info is. I don't know, man. It's fucking depressing.
Yeah,
it really is.
But hopefully everyone just stays home and we get over this shit. You know what I'm saying? Just move past it, get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And hopefully everyone watches the Cancellation Cup, dude.
Josh.
Hopefully everyone tunes in.
You gonna say something, Cody?
Well, I was gonna say, Josh, just keep living your normal life. You are doing your part by staying at home.
Been a recluse, son.
Been home.
Been home. Been doing this. Follow my lead. Don't do shit. Have no friends. It's easy.
I love this trend now of Cody ending every podcast just throwing shots at Josh too.
For real, dude.
You keep me honest. I love it.
Oh man, that's good. That's good.
Dick cheese.
Boys, I really don't know where else to go with it.
I think we may have done it, dude. The first remote podcast.
First of many probably coming up here.
First one. Third attempt. First one.
Yeah.
It is pretty much the 3rd attempt. We I guess, if this goes well the way it seems like it will, we'll probably plan to do the scrum this way.
Yeah.
Right? So we can still do some midweek stuff. Twice a week content coming out.
Absolutely, dude. Watch for it. You can follow us. We're going to be getting on it. You can follow us at Talkin' Sauce Pod. No underscore. Respect the underscore. Make sure to check out the Cancellation Cup. Check out the Scrum on YouTube. Check out our YouTube in general. You can follow me at Jacob, JAY__COBBB. Josh,
You're
where can we
pointing
get you at?
I know it's not on your screen, or it's on your screen, Dylan, but you were pointing at Cody while Jacob was saying that.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. I'm pointing to Jacob. I'm pointing
Yeah.
to Jacob.
You can follow me at Teebs, TEABZZ, 1Z, not 2 Z's, not 3.
Cody, what about you?
At CD_2187.
Dylan?
Right there.
Teabags your mum, YAMUM 69 420 lowercase x capital X on Reddit. Figure it out.
And there's an underscore in my at Dylan, but that's okay.
No, there's
It's
not.
all right.
No, there
Well,
isn't.
There simply is.
At JAYCOBB.
There's
No
an
underscore. Respect
There is
him.
an underscore. We respect
Find
him.
him.
Underscore. Episode 57 in a bag.
Bam.
In a bag.